welcome to another episode of Insurance 360 Podcast. Rob, welcome. We haven't done one in a little bit, but we got some hot topics going on.
Hold on. This is a new season, okay? It's a new us. It's a new logo. I feel like it's a fresh start for us.
Yeah, a lot of changes, right? A lot of changes in everything. We're going to talk about some of that today, but we're definitely going to shake things up here a little bit with our look.
Do you want to cheers? I feel like we should cheers.
Little cheers on the mugs here. All right, we're going to get started here. So definitely a lot going on, and today we got some pretty hot topics. You know, it's been since AEP of last year where they first came out with some of the information on the 2025 final rule. And I know there's been so much conversation around the new final rule right now, and there's a ton going on with it. But we want to talk about not only the final rule today, where we are, where we think we're going to be, but some of the things that I believe everybody's got to start doing to get ready at this point, right?
Yeah, scary stuff, man.
Yeah, it definitely is. But we know a little bit more today than we did last month, and certainly more than last AEP when we first started getting this information. So first off, those of you that I guess have been sort of under a rock or maybe aren't in the Medicare space, final rule comes out from CMS every single year. So in our industry, we sort of hold our breath a little bit. Is going to be a positive ruling? What's going to be in the final rule?
It's almost never positive for us.
Is it good stuff? Is it bad stuff? Well, I will tell you, the last couple of years have certainly been, I think, more on the difficult side for agents selling Medicare than positive. So if those of you that remember the 2018 rule, that's when they started coming out with all these non-healthcare benefits such as transportation that could be part of Medicare Advantage plans, for example. So over the years, those are the kind of things that we've seen. Telehealth has come out in the past couple of years. That's always been a big advantage since COVID, obviously. That was a big introduction. But in these last couple of years, we've seen all these marketing changes, right? We were seeing all the stuff that was coming out with the JJ Walkers, right? All the advertising and marketing stuff that was out there. So definitely been a lot of changes, right? And you as an agent trainer here in our office, there's been a lot going on.
A lot. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I had to thoroughly read all of the new rules and changes only for it to change again 3 weeks later once they, started to, it's almost like they iron out things and then they iron out things and then before you know it, when we see the final rule, right. Hopefully that'll be soon.
Right, they put out what they think and then they wait to hear if anybody complains about it and then they clarify some of the information and then we see where we sort of land. But we're certainly in a difficult spot this year. So we're going to talk a little bit about what we're expecting coming up here. So impact of the final rule. So for this year, obviously, there's a lot of eyes on what they're calling admin fees, right? So these are those administrative fees and fair market value commissions, right? So fair market value commissions are assigned every single year by CMS. This is what agents are going to get paid when you make a sale. So fair market value commissions are going to go up, right? Sounds like great stuff, right? But what does that exactly mean? So if you're getting more in the fair market value, what's being taken away, Rob? So what is no longer going to be able to get paid to agents?
A lot of things. They decided that they're going to, kind of tailor back marketing to agents, which, I don't know. It's. I guess I've been doing this for 8 years now. I'm just so used to us being able to chip in to help people, and it seems like they're really cracking down because, at the end of the day, it's what the 5% that break the rules, and that's how these rules get implemented.
The call centers, I think CMS, as we know, is definitely taking the hammer approach when they come out with their final rule. They tend not to use a scalpel, and we all sort of get lumped in with the bad actors, right? Which is kind of par for the course when you have a government a government-run program such as Medicare, certainly there's a lot of moving parts, and definitely that hammer has been hitting us these last couple of years.
And it's tough because, it's a trickle-down thing, right? I mean, when you hit the people that are at the top, right, the uplines, that trickles down to the agents. So yeah, the agents are getting paid more fair market value. But what ends up happening is when those fees are gone or significantly decreased, then you're talking hits to, quoting software that's been free to everybody.
Right. So software such as Connecture and Sunfire that everybody uses to quote, compare, enroll individuals, make sure that their clients are in the 100% best possible plan. And as we know that the average client, I think this past year had 43 different plan options to choose from. So we know that that's not happening on their own. We know that what is going to need to take place is some agent is going to have to help that individual with kind of deciphering what's the best plan for them. And without being part of that one-on-one conversation, is dental important to the individual? Is transportation benefits important? Is the OTC card more important, right? If you're not part of that conversation, it's difficult to say what's the best plan for that client, but that's where the agents need these type of softwares to make sure that they are putting them in what is the best for that individual based on those conversations.
Yeah, and I mean, look, when I started, and you're in the same boat. When I started, it was 95% paper, 5% electronic, and now it's the polar opposite. And those softwares really do help you crunch the numbers. They really help you figure out what exactly your client needs to get into. And with all the changes to Part D and all that other stuff that we're going to talk about, I mean, it's even ever more evident that we need the softwares.
Right. Yeah, the support structure has definitely come from the top down. The FMOs have historically always been that part of the chain, the supply chain there, as you would say, that has done the training with the agents, who then can always go to the clients, the beneficiaries, the individuals. We're all trying to do our best to help day in and day out, and making sure that the best possible options are being done. So if the admin fees, right, are getting hampered by this final rule, if the FMOs are no longer going to be able to support the agents in the same way, ultimately the beneficiary, the end user, are the ones that could be getting hurt, right? And that's the exact opposite of what I think CMS would want to have happen, right? At the end of the day, helping the beneficiary is the ultimate goal for all of us, right? And we know, historically speaking, that Medicare Advantage has really been a good plan in general for the government, right? There's been articles out there and surveys done that the Medicare Advantage, if all of Medicare handled claims in the same way the Medicare Advantage does, the Medicare trust fund would be extended, right? Do nothing else. If just everybody, if the fee-for-service that Part A and Part B did adjudicated claims in the same way the Advantage does, Medicare itself would be helped. Right? It seems like a good thing.
Yeah.
Clients are being helped, agents are being trained, the Medicare trust fund itself is winning. These are all good things that are being hampered by the changes that are coming in the final rule, right? So we have to look at all these different things, right? CMS, right, in their ultimate goal, they're saying, hey, maybe some of the smaller carriers are getting looked at negatively, right? They're worried about, where the dollars are flowing from. At the end of the day, the insurance agents are always trying to do what's best for that client, because they don't want to complain, right? You never have anybody say, hey, I'm going to just sell this one company and not care about what the best product is for the clients.
Yeah, I mean, and it's, when it comes to that specific scenario too with the smaller carriers, it seems like they've been the loudest with this. And it's crazy to me because a lot of the times, if you look at the raw numbers, they're never normally number one. So although, they're upset about where things are, you got to have competitive product.
Yeah, it depends, and that's a really important thing to understand, right? You have carriers out there that their footprint is a national footprint, so their overall membership is obviously going to be higher than a carrier that's in one state in 4 counties. But in those 4 counties, that smaller regional company could very well be the number one seller because they have the best product, the best network, and they do a great job. They're never going to be able to compete on a national membership basis as one of the larger carriers that has that national footprint, but they're not getting selected against, right? They're getting their sales where they have their footprint, and that's what's important to understand. So Medicare Advantage, great for the clients, really high amount of consumer satisfaction when it comes to Medicare Advantage, right? Everything's not always 100%, obviously. Enrollment's going up. We know this. We're over 50% of individuals that have Part A and B that are in a Medicare Advantage plan, which is huge. I mean, obviously, that's huge. Big changes, though, also this year in the Part D plan, Rob, right? So what are we seeing?
It's pretty wild. So look, at the end of the day, a lot of the things that have come down are at their base, they're trying to help seniors, right? So with the Part D initially, what was it last year with the $35 insulin, which I see everywhere on commercials now with the like Biden stuff, this
right.
$35 insulin,
yeah, exactly.
which was a great change. There's been some great stuff because the insulin prices were pretty crazy.
Right.
But for this year, they're simplifying, and I'm going to do quotes here if you're watching. They simplified the tiers. So they actually basically molded 2 tiers together, so it's a 3-tier system now. And yes, it looks easier to grasp. However, the $2,000 annual out-of-pocket max that they're saying that is only what the seniors are going to incur. Well, they put that on the carriers, so it's very carrier heavy.
Really important point is the changing in the total cost allocation between what the government's paying, what the carriers are paying, what providers are paying, and what the consumer is paying. So a big change, as you just mentioned. Carriers are on the hook for more money now than they've ever had been before, right? So insulin. Carriers on the hook for more money. What do you think that does to the plans?
It's going to go up.
Yeah. Well, listen, at the end of the day, somebody's got to pay for this. So they're spreading the cost over the entire population of Part D plans, right? Everybody's going to have to pay more, and that is certainly going to be in a higher premium amount, right? What was WellCare's cheap premium product for last year? I think they had the cheapest one. It was like 50 cents.
It was $0 in New Jersey.
It was $0.
So what you're going to be looking at though is you're probably talking at least in the hundreds.
Yeah, you're going to have. Listen, the cheap plan this coming year, if you get a plan that's $60 a month in premium, that's probably going to be the cheap plan. And there's going to be other changes to it. You're going to have formulary changes to those plans. So everybody's going to have to understand that this coming AEP, the 2025 plans, you're going to have changes in premiums. I think it's really important because agents who have large books of business that have not had to go back to their clients, the disruption this year is going to be unlike anything else. It's going to be unlikely that you're going to be able to say to a large part of your book of business, just stay where you are. I don't need to talk to you.
Yeah.
You're going to be talking to everybody this year. You better just be ready for that, because if you're not talking to them when they get the sticker shock of the changes, they're going to be talking to somebody.
Yeah, and it's going to be a sticker shock. It's going to be, because I have a lot of clients on Part D, and I haven't had to talk to half of them in 2 or 3 years because everyone stayed pat. But it's going to be. But let's we're doom and gloom right now, right? Let's go on the positive. With all that disruption, that means there's going to be a ton of opportunity out there this year.
Of course.
Probably more opportunity this year than you've seen in the market in years.
Yeah, there's going to be more disruption this year than there ever has been in my memory. right? And we've been doing this since the beginning, back in 2005, 2006, when they first started coming out with, Part D again. And just remember, Part D is part of Medicare Advantage. The changes to Part D are also going to affect the Medicare Advantage plans. So now you could see premiums where you never saw premium before. Last study I saw was over 60 or so % of all individuals in a Medicare Advantage plan had a zero premium.
It's crazy.
That could change, right? We don't know. We're just starting to get the first trickles of the first looks for the 2025 plans from the carriers, and that won't always give us all the information like premiums, but we're going to start having to delve into some of that. But imagine Medicare Advantage plans now having premiums, higher copays, higher deductibles, Part D changes as part of the Medicare Advantage plans. Just spells disruption from the get-go. We just have to be ready for this, 100% ready for this.
Yeah, and on top of the disruption, and all of the changes to the plans, you're going to have to really start to think about, well, what other products can I offer?
Really important point to make. In these conversations that you're having, ancillary health is going to be your friend.
Oh, yeah.
We've already had millions of conversations, I feel like, here in our office, talking about ancillary health products like a hospital indemnity, like a standalone cancer plan, like a standalone dental, vision, and hearing plan. All of these things are going to be on the table. Just think about your client who likes to have the dental benefits as part of the Medicare Advantage plan, not having the same type of benefits any longer. What do, right? You better have a standalone ancillary plan in your back pocket to talk to them, because if you don't, somebody else will.
Yeah, I mean, especially if they get that, that letter and it's like, all right, well, here's your changes to your premium, and on top of that, your dental is now cut in half. No more transportation. OTC, that doesn't exist anymore. Right. So you're going to need to find ways to get creative. And I can tell you, just from working here, I mean, we've been having this ancillary discussion now for 4, 5, 6 months, and there is a lot of ancillary product out there that can build back the plans that you're marketing, and maybe not to 100% of what they were, because a lot of it was zero premium, but it'll be able to build back the plans to what they were, if not better in some cases.
Yeah. And we also have to keep in mind, and many people sort of this went under the radar and missed it, CMS is actually looking at making some changes to Medicare supplement. I know the first thing everyone says is CMS doesn't oversee Medicare supplement, but they are taking a stab at it. They are saying that you cannot discriminate on a Medicare supplement considered a health plan based on health or sex. So if every Medicare supplement was to no longer be able to underwrite individuals, and there's a couple of states that already do this, New York, Connecticut. Yep. What do you think the impact will be on med sup premiums across the country if that happens? So now you have med sup premiums possibly going up. Now you have Part D premiums because a Medicare supplement individual has a Part D plan they have to purchase. It's no longer going to be 50 cents a month. Now it could be $60, $80 per month. What are those individuals going to do? Is a med sup still going to be in their budget? Or do you need to move them possibly to a Medicare Advantage plan, right?
Yeah, I mean, you are going to see people migrate more this year than, like I said, than ever before, because they almost have to. And if the Part D goes where we think it's probably going to go, I mean, if you have someone that's 80 years old and a supplement of Part D where it was $350 a month, it might now be $500 or $600 a month. It may double. And that's just with the changes. That doesn't include any type of price changes that the carrier might do this year, which, historically we've seen 3 to 5%. That's a good increase. You might be seeing 20, 25%.
Yeah, we're definitely seeing higher rate increases on Medicare supplements already, and I think a big part of that is the utilization. We all know that 2020, 2021, real utilization was down. COVID was really the driver behind that, and now utilization is way up, so claims are way up. The carriers are already talking about that, and we know CMS did not do funding in quite the same way. Both the Democrats and the Republicans got together and actually agreed on something. They both wrote letters to CMS, said, hey, you are not funding Medicare Advantage quite where you need to because of the utilization, right? We know this. So we know there's going to be cuts. We know there's going to be changes to the benefits. We know that it's going to cost more for beneficiaries. So if an individual's in a Medicare supplement, they might have to go to a Medicare Advantage. Maybe they add on hospital indemnity. Maybe they add on a standalone dental vision hearing. I sort of coined it as Med Sup Light, Rob.
I like it. I like
little
it.
Med Sup Light. You throw on an Advantage plan. Maybe the Advantage plan is still zero premium. Maybe it's got a little premium on it, but you throw on a dental vision and hearing. Maybe that's $20-$30. You throw on a hospital indemnity. Maybe that's $20-$30, give or take. Maybe you got to throw on a cancer lump sum cancer plan. Maybe now the client's paying $150 a month for all these tied together, $200 a month instead of a $500 a month. But maybe that's the package that you have to look at this upcoming AEP. So I would just say, man, you got to be on this now. You got to make sure you've got the ancillary plans in your back pocket and be ready to talk to your clients about all of these different changes.
Yeah, and I mean, in talking with a lot of agencies and agents, and a lot of people are game planning to really hit the ground hard October 1st,
Right.
and mail their clients, make sure all of their clients are aware of all the things that are going to be changing. Because if you lay the groundwork, especially those first 2 weeks, it'll make your life that much easier on the 15th when you can start to place people. You'll kind of get an idea of where things are going. But right now, we don't even know what the plans look like, right? So,
Yeah.
It's a big question mark.
Yeah, pre-AEP, that October 1st is really going to be a busy
Crucial.
time this year, right? And you cannot wait until September to start trying to figure out what ancillary plans you need. You cannot wait till October. You cannot start doing your contracting then. I will just tell you, if you try and contract with a carrier in September and October, you might not get that appointment till December, January, right? Because that's when they are just overwhelmed with stuff and everybody's trying to do things last minute, and you got to do it now, right? You got to reach out to the team. You got to get yourself set up with these ancillary plans. Keep on top of it all right now. Be ready to talk to your entire book of business this year more than ever. Disruption is the word of the day.
Yeah, and hey, look, I know here at Pinnacle, we're doing a ton of trainings. We hold 3 to 5 webinars a week, and they're all really ancillary based. So, feel free to check out the website. We're really trying to make sure all agents are educated on every ancillary possibility that there may be, because you're going to be using some of it. And if you're not, someone else will. And you know how it is with the statistics, right? The more policies you have in one house, the more likely you are to hold on to your client. That's going to be really, really evident this year.
Yeah, exactly. It's great to have hope that everything's going to be okay. but as I like to say, hope is not a strategy, Rob. And if you are just hoping and praying, well, you might find yourself a little bit in a difficult spot come October. So, as Rob mentioned, you got to get on all of our trainings, making sure that you're paying attention to what's going on, checking out the first looks when they come out, keep an eye out for all that information coming in your inbox, stuff out on social media. We'll make sure that we get everything out as it becomes available. So keep an eye out, everybody. It's important.
And keep in mind, you don't have to be contracted agent to do our trainings.
Yes.
You just register, you can hop on, and we have special guests. We have a lot of really great stuff, and it's becoming more and more important that you're educated on all those products, because I'm sure a lot of people, they're not selling them right now.
Yeah, exactly. So keep your eye and ears open, wide. Make sure we're paying attention to everything going on, and we'll make sure that we do our job, which is to make sure we get that information out to everybody, make sure everybody's trained up on all the changes and what's available, and then let's make sure we put a strategy together and make sure that strategy is not hope, right? All right, so we appreciate everybody spending some time with us today, back on our new look here.
Oh yeah, I mean, look
we
at
are
these digs,
excited,
man.
and
It's a great job.
there's going to be a lot more to come more frequently this point forward, going all the way through AEPs.
And before we sign off, certification season
Yes.
is hitting. So United Healthcare came
Great
out
point.
this
Yep.
week. You're going to see AHIP and the NABIP next week. So that's really going to start the domino effect of everybody else. So late June, early July, a lot of the carriers start to come out. So if you have any questions, feel free to call the team. I've already done the United Healthcare certs. They're pretty standard. I will say one thing on here, though. They finally got rid of the events basics assessment,
Nice.
which was a thorn in everyone's side for
That's
the past
great.
couple of years. So if you do events and with United Healthcare, it's just a module. There's no test. It does make it a little bit easier. But if you need to help prepare for your certification season, make sure you give us a buzz or check out one of our webinars on it or our blogs. We got a lot of blogs on the certification.
Exactly. We're gonna get the information out a lot of different ways. Make sure everybody's ready to go, ready to hit the ground running.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, everybody. We're gonna end it there. We appreciate you taking some time with us. Keep your eye out for upcoming podcasts. Make sure that you are subscribing to all the podcasts. You're following us on social media, YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook. We're gonna have everything out in a lot of different places just to make sure that everybody gets the information. So again, for Bob and
Rob, thank you very much, everybody. We appreciate it.
We appreciate you. Have a great rest of your day.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.